Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. Wildfire emergency. More than 30,000 people under evacuation orders tonight in Southern California as wind-whipped flames threaten homes and property.
My community will come back stronger. You know, we have seen this before.
And first on CBS News, the leader of the Islamic Center of San Diego, what he says about the heroism of those killed in yesterday's attack. Plus a phone call to police from one suspect's mother before her son opened fire. Also developing tonight, new video shows the moment an engine fell off a UPS plane, what investigators are now saying about what caused that crash, killing 15 people last November. And a woman steps out of her car and plunges to her death through an open manhole in the heart of New York City. How could it happen?
Have a good one. I'll see you in the morning.
Affordability in America. Tonight, our new series takes us to the nation's third largest convenience store, what it's doing for consumers to help make Memorial Day more like Christmas. And the good stuff tonight, an American police officer saved by a brother in blue from an ocean away.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
And good evening. We begin with breaking news out of California. The Sandy fire forcing more than 30,000 people from their homes tonight, about 40 miles north of Los Angeles. Hundreds of firefighters are working around the clock to contain it with help from helicopters and planes dropping water from the skies. And that's not even the biggest wildfire burning in that state right now. Our chief correspondent, Matt Gutman, is covering all of it tonight from inside the burn zone. Matt, good evening. How's it looking?
Tony, good evening. The wind is kicking up, and I want you to look across that ridge right over there. There is a line of fire, some of those flames at least 20 feet high, and there has been an aerial battle all day long here to try to protect the communities here. I want you to see how encircled they are. They laid down that Phos-Chek over there, but there are spot fires across the landscape here and across Southern California tonight. Fires are erupting across Southern California and the western U.S. tonight. In Riverside County, east of Los Angeles, there are multiple fires with structures burning. On the ground, more than 750 firefighters are battling the blaze. In the air, swarms of helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft dropping water and fire retardant.
We anticipate increased fire behavior and increased winds.
And schools across the area were closed today as thick smoke blanketed the community. The Sandy fire has scorched more than 1,300 acres with 5% containment. And that same wind system has fueled an even larger fire in the Channel Islands. Called the Santa Rosa Island Fire, it is threatening critically endangered species and has blackened nearly 17,000 acres, ignited when a shipwrecked sailor fired signal flares hoping to be rescued. Near Amarillo, Texas, a fire has spread to more than 2,500 acres, destroying homes, structures, and vehicles in its path. And back in Simi Valley, this is close quarters combat for these firefighters. They're trying to stop this encroaching fire before it hits houses like these and this whole row of houses on this street. Jim and Cheryl Collins say this is the closest the fire has ever come to their home.
It's our home, and we love it, and we did everything we could.
At any point, did you prepare to leave? Do you have a go bag or anything like that?
Everything's ready in the car.
Our
Cat's
truck
in the
is
cat
full of everything.
carrier.
Tony, that fire is ripping across the hillside here. Some of those flames, you can see them twisting up. And I want to show you what they've been trying to do to protect this area, painting that dam over there in that red. Now, a little bit of good news. Firefighters are expecting lower temperatures tonight and higher humidity. Hopefully, it gets them the upper hand. Tony.
We'll keep an eye on it. Matt, thank you very much. And police say that deadly shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego nearly turned into something far worse. The gunmen were within 15 feet of a school full of children when a security guard and two other men intervened. All three died in the attack, and they're being hailed as heroes tonight. Arlana Zach has more from San Diego.
We've seized over 30 guns and a crossbow.
San Diego police say the two teens who carried out the mosque shooting and apparently live streamed their rampage were likely motivated by hate.
We also identified writings and various ideologies outlining religious and racial beliefs of how the world they envisioned should look.
The two teenagers, 17-year-old Kane Clark and Caleb Vasquez, 18, met online and connected over their hate-filled beliefs. They approached the mosque just before noon on Monday and started shooting. The gunman came within 15 feet of 140 children inside. Two mosque members, Nadir Awad and Mansour Kazia, engaged the shooters, moving them outside. Earlier, Amin Abdullah, a security guard and father of 8, enacted lockdown protocols and took on the gunman.
I felt a bit scared. My legs were shaking in my hands. And my head was like hurting me a lot.
A landscaper working nearby was shot at. A bullet deflected off of his helmet, likely saving his life.
Imam Taha Hussein says their community is shaken, but
I know that my community is resilient. We're just trying our best to show the best of who we are, to stand in solidarity with one another, especially with the families of the 3 victims.
Police believe the shooters died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds, and tonight there is growing concern over hate directed at religious groups, and faith institutions are asking for additional police presence. Tony?
Lana, thank you very much. We know more tonight about why that UPS cargo plane lost an engine and crashed on takeoff in Louisville last November, killing 15 people. The NTSB had a hearing today and released new video which shows the moment that left side engine fell off during takeoff. Here's senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Tony, we are seeing this for the first time. Dramatic surveillance video of the moment the engine separated from the UPS cargo plane in November of 2025 in Kentucky. The new view, captured by an airport camera, shows the engine flying off the cargo plane in a ball of fire as it was racing down the runway. This crash killed all 3 aboard and 12 people on the ground. The NTSB says it's likely metal fatigue caused the failure of a component attaching the engine to the wing. We also learned that flight crew had been reassigned to the MD-11 after their original plane was taken out of service. An NTSB investigator told the board UPS did not take additional action after reviewing a 2011 notice from Boeing that flagged structural failures on the MD-11. UPS says that notification didn't require any action. The FAA grounded the MD-11 after the crash, and UPS has since retired them from its fleet. UPS tells CBS News our focus remains on supporting the investigation and honoring those affected by this tragedy. The NTSB investigation is ongoing, but FedEx has started to return the MD-11 to service after the planes undergo repairs that have been certified by Boeing and approved by the FAA. Tony?
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche took questions today on President Trump's new $1.8 billion fund designed for victims of politically motivated investigations under the Biden administration. He said anyone of any party could apply for compensation, whether they're named Hunter Biden or convicted of violence during the Capitol riot in 2021. Congressional correspondent Nicole Killian has details.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche faced bipartisan backlash over the creation of the nearly $2 billion fund.
The president has set up a slush fund, and he literally will get to choose through his hand-picked appointees who gets paid that fund. That is absurd.
The president did not set up this fund. It's not a slush fund.
Asked repeatedly whether those who assaulted police officers on January 6 could be paid, Blanche didn't rule it out.
Do you feel they should get compensation after being convicted of violent acts?
My feelings don't matter, Senator, in my mind. My mind is not limiting to say this, yes, I will commit to this or that.
At the White House, the vice president was pressed on the same issue.
We're not trying to give money to anybody who attacked a police officer. We're trying to compensate people where the book was thrown at them. They were mistreated by the legal system.
The fund was established after President Trump dropped his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over the leak of his tax returns. As part of the settlement, the DOJ said today the IRS is forever barred from prosecuting past or existing audits into the president, his family, and the Trump Organization.
Do you believe those terms are fair?
I think that there are and will be, continue to be, a lot of questions around that.
Tonight, some of the police officers who defended the Capitol on January 6 tell me if this new anti-weaponization fund is used to pay those who committed the attack, it's, quote, insane and could jeopardize their safety. Tony?
Nicole, thank you very much. The State Department today strongly urged Americans to avoid traveling to 3 Central African countries, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan, citing the Ebola outbreak there. More than 130 people have already died. Hundreds of others are believed to be infected. Senior national correspondent Mark Strassman has more on an American doctor being treated in Germany.
American surgeon Dr. Peter Stafford has Ebola. and will be treated at a German hospital. His doctor wife Rebecca and their 4 children are also headed there. Dr. Patrick LaRochelle, another American, was also exposed. They're missionaries in eastern Congo, and they're among hundreds of people infected by an Ebola outbreak that prompted the World Health Organization to meet today in emergency session.
We have now significant uncertainty about the numbers of infection and how far the virus has spread.
Ebola deaths from this outbreak officially stand at more than 130 people. There are another 500 plus suspected cases. And experts expect those patient numbers and deaths to spike, and soon. Ebola spreads through direct contact with blood or bodily fluids. This particular deadly strain has no approved vaccine, and without one, up to half of infected patients could die. A 2014 Ebola outbreak in West Africa killed more than 11,000 people.
Diseases do not respect borders. If we're not closely tracing, cases and managing them, there's a very good chance that they could come to the U.S.
Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
Last night in New York City, a woman parked her car on the street near the famous stores of Fifth Avenue and then disappeared on her first step out of the vehicle, right down an open manhole cover. National correspondent Lily Luciano has details.
A shocking death in Midtown Manhattan late Monday night. 56-year-old Donikai Gochai fell into an uncovered manhole managed by Con Edison, the energy company that serves New York City. According to the NYPD, Gochai opened the door of her Mercedes-Benz SUV and after stepping out of the driver's seat, plunged into the 10-foot hole.
She was screaming she was dying. She kept saying over and over, "I'm dying, I'm dying."
Carlton Wood says he saw her disappear into the hole.
People started running towards us. And one guy actually tried to go down in the hole and help her. He just couldn't reach her, and we actually had to help him back out. Some people had ran to their cars trying to get whatever they had. Somebody had a short ladder, but that wasn't enough.
When first responders arrived, they say they found her unconscious inside. When they pulled her out, she was transported to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. A spokesperson for Con Edison said in a statement, "We have reviewed the video footage from the area, which suggests that the cover was dislodged after a multi-axle truck turning onto 52nd Street from Fifth Avenue drove over it. Approximately 12 minutes later, the person involved in the incident parked her car nearby." It is still unclear whether or how the cover became loose in the first place, but the NYPD say they are investigating. Tony?
The tragic story tonight. Lilia, thank you very much. We turn now to a CBS News exclusive. Tonight we're hearing from U.S. Army soldiers who survived a deadly Iranian drone attack on their command post in Kuwait at the start of the war. They tell us the Army ignored their request for more medical support that could have saved lives. Here's CBS News correspondent Jonah Kaplan.
Why are you coming forward?
This was a failure. The only way you learn from your failures is you talk about it.
After a drone crashed through his makeshift workspace, Army Major Stephen Ramsbottom says he began pulling his fellow soldiers from the rubble.
I wanted to see like a line of ambulances coming towards us or something, and there wasn't that. And it was like, oh man, we're on our own.
The strike killed 6 U.S. soldiers, all from the Iowa-based 103rd Sustainment Command. Ramsbottom believes one of them, Master Sergeant Nicole Amer, could have survived her wounds had there been a doctor or more than one ambulance at the post.
I think she could have been saved.
Master Sergeant Anne-Marie Carrier was Amer's best friend.
She was like my yin and yang.
She says Amer was still breathing as they set out for a local Kuwaiti hospital. Shortly after arriving, Amer died.
Was the Army prepared for a mass casualty event like this?
No.
2 other soldiers told CBS News they asked for more medical support weeks before, but they say Army leadership ignored the request. Today on Capitol Hill, Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin questioned Army Secretary Dan Driscoll.
Why did the Army deny providing additional medical supplies to the soldiers?
Senator, I don't know the specifics of the CBS story you're referencing from this morning, but commit to following up with your office.
Okay. After the attack, Carrier escorted her friend's remains back home.
We always laughed. I miss those laughs.
In a statement to CBS News, a Pentagon spokesperson wrote, "No plan is ever perfect, but accusations suggesting blatant disregard for the safety of our forces are unfounded and inaccurate." He added, an investigation into the attack is ongoing. Tony, we're going to be following it.
Jonah, thank you very much for your reporting on this. Appreciate it. Still ahead on the broadcast, searching for bargains while fueling up. What Americans are buying at the gas station other than gas. We're back with our ongoing coverage of America's affordability crisis. With gas prices averaging around $4.50 a gallon nationally, consumers are looking for bargains on fuel and food, and some are finding them. Here again is senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Filling up in Killeen, Texas, on average, gas is $1.28 a gallon more than it was a year ago. For Charles Rice, that's about $90 extra a month to fill up his truck.
$3.96 instead of $4.12 or $4.20, so that's what brought me in here today.
Here is Casey's General Stores. It's the nation's third largest convenience store with nearly 3,000 locations across 19 states, making Memorial Day weekend almost like it's Christmas. Store visits are expected to jump 20%. CEO Darren Rebellas.
Well, it's the kickoff of our 100 days of summer.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
2/3 of Casey's locations are in towns of 20,000 people or less.
Are you seeing impacts from the higher prices of fuel?
The consumer's been hanging in there, and we tend to price our fuel at the lower end.
Y'all have a good one. You too. Thank you.
And consumers are making some trade-offs. Casey's self-branded snacks sell for about $1 less than national brands, and sales are up.
People normally want things that are going to be a little bit more affordable, especially when you have kids that want to pick up different snacks.
Have you started to see any change in consumer behavior? Because Domino's, Chipotle, Applebee's all said they saw softening, which they're attributing to higher gas prices.
When we get into times like this where, budgets are stretched a little bit, we're viewed as a better value option. A lot of folks will come to us because we're a more affordable option.
To the extent that pizza is reflective of the U.S. economy, Casey's is the 5th largest pizza seller in the U.S., priced a few dollars below their competition. So when they talk about value, it's people coming here to save money instead of eating out elsewhere, Tony.
All right, Chris, enjoy that pizza. Thank you very much. Up next, teens are choosing their phones over sleep. What parents can do to change that. Teenagers need more sleep than they're getting, but it's not just school demands that are keeping them up. It's phones. Yes, phones, according to a new study which shows teens are, on average, scrolling and texting and who knows whating for nearly an hour after 10 p.m. on school nights. And half of teens use their phones between midnight and 4 a.m. The solution, according to basically everyone except maybe the teens, no phones in bed. A family vacationing in Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains had a bear show up for their taco night last week. The bear is using the kitchen a bit like a drive-through window, reaching in for what's on the counter. Dad gets a little clever, though, here, using the retractable kitchen faucet to spray the bear, who finally backed off. Closed the window. Well done. Up next, the good stuff. Even on vacation, a police officer is never really off duty. We're back with the good stuff. A moment of truth for a police officer who was very, very off duty when it came. It happened in Nashville this month, where a different officer, Nashville's Peter Kinsey, had what he called the closest near-death experience he's had on patrol. A fight with a man trying to take his gun.
The thoughts going through my head was, he's not getting my gun away from me, and I'm just going to have to hang on until somebody gets here.
That somebody would turn out to be Taylor Johansson, who had just landed in Nashville to start a week-long trip with his wife. And that's when he saw that fight on the side of the road. Now, Johansson is also a cop, but in England, which means he had every excuse to keep on driving. Wrong country, far from home, on vacation, not his problem. And yet...
Get off him! Are you okay?
He pulled the suspect away until backup arrived, and Officer Kinsey says it probably saved his life.
I think if I'd driven off and something serious had happened to the officer, I don't think I would have been able to forgive myself. So
there is a bond, it seems, between officers, even when one is an ocean away. Or maybe it was just the right thing to do, and you're never off duty from that. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel. For all of us here at CBS News, good night.